doctors marched out in groups, far and wide. They took over the streets. They went on strike, hunger strike, and self-inflicted leave from work. They chanted with their voices and on their placards, "Reclaim the night," in protest against the starry hats that have been the bane of womanhood. It all started with this guy called Roy. Roy was a lowlife who volunteered in the civic service of the police force in Kolkata. Roy was deployed to a duty post near a teaching hospital in Kolkata, where he performed his civic duties. Roy and his colleague went to the teaching hospital in Kolkata to inquire about his colleague's brother, who was admitted to the hospital. After ascertaining the health status of his colleague's brother at the hospital, Roy and his colleague left to go for a drink. They purchased alcoholic drinks on the road and drank. Roy and his colleague rode to the red light area of Sonagashi, a place notorious for prostitution. They couldn't hook up with a prostitute for the night, so they left for another red light district of Shetla. On their way to Shetla, Roy and his colleague molested the girl. Roy stood outside while his friend went in with one of the prostitutes in Shetla to have fun. Roy called his girlfriend and requested a nude picture to satisfy his libido. Since he could not find a girl for the night, she obliged and sent him nudes. Roy's friend concluded the section at the brothel. They traveled back to Kolkata. Meanwhile, while Roy and his colleague were at their shenanigans, a lady, let us call her Trainee, because she was on a trainee for her postgraduate program at the government hospital, was having a hell of a time. He was going on world rounds, attending to patients, responding to emergency, and even working in the surgical room with other doctors. She was at it for many hours of her shift. Trainee had dinner with her colleagues after an exhausting day. She retired to the seminar hall of the hospital for the night, not knowing she would be taken in the night. Management of the teaching hospital and the police called Trainee's family the next day to inform them that Trainee had taken her own life. Trainee's family were devastated. They couldn't believe that their daughter, who was full of life, had taken her own life in that manner. They pressed for answers to know the real cause of Trainee's demise. Trainee's family discovered that their daughter was found in a semi-nude state the morning after her death. They also discovered that the management of the hospital and the police had tampered with evidences in their initial report. The Trainee's family could not just let go of the matter. They wanted justice for their daughter at all costs. So they cried out to the public for help. The incident became a national issue. India had experienced crimes against women over the years. The public wanted answers, so they staged nationwide protests. Doctors marched out in groups, far and wide. They took over the streets. They went on strike, hunger strike, and self-inflicted leave from work. They chanted with their voices and on their placards, "Reclaim the night," in protest against the starry hats that have been the bane of womanhood. Government authority submitted to the will of the people. They opened a full-scale investigation into the incident. The case was transferred from the local authority to the CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation in India. Police at the CBI did an autopsy on the deceased, and they discovered a large amount of semen in her vagina area. They also discovered that the disease was put out of her mystery by suffocation. Police took samples of blood stain on the fingers of the deceased and strands of hair that were found at the scene of the crime for a DNA test to identify the possible perpetrator of the crime. Police found a Bluetooth device at the scene of the crime. They also retrieved footage of the last person who entered the seminar room. All evidence linked to the suspect, Roy. I returned to the hospital under the influence of alcohol. I went to the back of the hospital where I indulged in adult content that aroused me. I desperately needed a woman to lie with. I went to the wing where the seminar room is located in search of companion for the night. I entered the seminar room. I found her lying on the table. I moved closer to her in her unconscious state. I jumped on her. She scratched me in her struggles to rescue herself from my assault. I overpowered her and forced myself on her. She died in my arms from suffocation. Roy confessed to the crime without remorse. Police put Roy on a lie detector test and also a psychopathic test just to leave no stone unturned about his mental health and the truthfulness of his confession. The police also got evidence of the places he had been through his phone. They also found adult content of incest and nude from his girlfriend on his phone. The CBI arrested the police officer who tried to cover up the incident for Roy. Apparently, when Roy left the murder scene, he went straight to his friend in the police force and reported his crime. Roy's friend, the policeman, went straight to the incident scene and tried to tamper with the evidence around the area. The director of the teaching hospital and other top management also resigned after being indicted for covering up for the crime. Roy is currently facing trial in the murder case and could be sentenced to death if found guilty of the crime. What a pity for Trainee, who lost her life to that heinous crime. To this day, her identity is kept secret because in India, the identity of sexual abuse victims is hidden to save them from shame, whether they are alive or dead. It is high time the world wakes up to crimes like this against women.